Hello and welcome to another episode of Tiva Drive, and this time around we're inside the 2019 Volvo XC90 T8 plug-in hybrid SUV, graciously provided to us by Volvo Canada. As you may know, we have recently test-driven the smaller brother, the XC60 T8 plug-in hybrid. This is the flagship product of Volvo currently, the largest SUV, and of course it's a plug-in hybrid. So the starting price of this vehicle, MSRP in Canada, is around $78,000, which is basically only $6,000 more than its smaller brother XC60 plug-in hybrid. However, the XC90, what basically brings it down so close to the price of that smaller brother, is the fact that you can get the XC90 plug-in hybrid in a Momentum trim, which is not available on the XC60 for now. Hence, only $6,000 difference. So the starting price for the XC60 is $72,000. The starting price for XC90 plug-in version is starts at $78,000. This car here is basically in its top trim. This is the Inscription, and it's fully loaded. So the MSRP on this one, the one we're driving today, it's around $93,000, which basically puts it in line with the starting price of the full electric Jaguar I-Pace and Audi e-tron, also starting price at $93,000. So it's overlapping basically the price of full electric SUVs. The good thing and the nice thing about this XC90 is that it, being a plug-in hybrid, it still offers the third row seating. So it's a 7-passenger plug-in hybrid SUV. In the case of our X5, which, as you know, we have in our fleet for the last year or so, the X5 plug-in hybrid does not offer third row because the battery takes space in the trunk. The reason why the car here still has a third row in spite of the fact that it's a plug-in hybrid is the location of the battery, which is in the center tunnel of the car. So this car, basically the technical specs are almost identical to its smaller brother XC60 T8. So the engine and battery, everything is very similar. So it's basically a 2-liter turbocharged engine with over 300 horsepower and an 87 horsepower electric motor for a total system power of 400 horsepower, which is pretty powerful. The acceleration on paper from 0 to 100 is around 5.5 seconds. So it's about 0.7 seconds faster than our X5, and because also the system horsepower is larger than the X5. Now the battery size is 10.4, so it's been increased since this car was launched about 3 years ago. It's slightly bigger, and they launched it with less than 10 kilowatt hours. Now the current size is 10.4, and as we're shooting this video, Volvo has just announced the specs for the 2020 version of this car, which includes some visual tweaks and slight facelift and some cosmetic changes to the outside of the car. But also mentioned in the press release was the fact that the electric range will be 15% bigger. Whether that means that they found efficiencies or whether the battery will be 15% bigger, which would put it around the 12 kilowatt hour battery. We're not sure yet, but they said that it will offer 15% more pure electric range. How does this car compare to its competition? So X5 again, which is basically has a smaller battery, although that's the previous model. The new X5, which is coming next year, will have a much bigger battery. So the battery will be between 14 and 15 kilowatt hours. So with all the new plug-in hybrid SUVs that are about to come to the market, they will offer most likely a longer pure electric range because their batteries will be slightly bigger. But as it stands right now, it's a very competitive product. There is really no competition yet in terms of the 3-row SUV and the plug-in hybrid form. So we'll take it for a quick spin. and see, you know, what our impressions are. We have previously tried to hypermile this car on country roads doing about 90 kilometers per hour. So we will tell you all about our impressions of how far we were able to go using the hypermiling method. And we just wanted to quickly show you the overview of the dashboard, which is almost identical to the XC60, which we have reviewed before. All the same menus, the center menu here. So basically you have the navigation. You have the second is your entertainment. So you have the radio, you have the satellite radio, regular radio, and multimedia basically right here. The third one is just your sound system setups. So this being the Inscription, which is top of the line. You have also choice of the R Design or Momentum. But this being an Inscription, it's equipped with the $4,000 option for the Bowers Wilkins stereo system, which has an amazing surround sound system. So you have studio, you have individual stage with various kinds of envelopment and intensity, and then the concert hall setup as well, which is tuned to sound similar like the Gothenburg's concert hall. So that's part of the upgraded sound system. You can also get your statistics in terms of your driving by going through the menu here and driver performance. So you can see here, it gives you the last 10, 50 or 100 kilometers, both your fuel consumption averages and your electric range. So you can see here that we were able to drive about 24 kilometers in pure electric, and we have about 4 kilometers left for a total of 29 kilometers. So when you start the car, it will always show around 29 kilometer electric car range, but we were able to go farther than that. We actually drove up to over 35 kilometers, and they were not in really ideal conditions for hypermiling. So I think in ideal conditions you could probably get closer to 40 kilometers in pure electric mode. Okay, so that's basically your main menus here. Just like the XC60, the car has an e-charge mode. So when you go back here, just right at the top here, you see there's a charge button. When you press that and you put the car in B, it will charge up the battery. So from our experience, to charge it from empty to almost full, it took us about 100 kilometers on the highway. And then we're back up to about 30 kilometers range. So it's good when you're going on trips and you may not have possibility to plug in the car somewhere, and then you basically use the e-charge mode on the highway. As soon as you get off the highway, you put it back in electric mode, and you will get your full 30 kilometer range or more on side roads or within the city. It's particularly important in European congestion zones where the other gas cars are not allowed to venture. So anyway, so let's take it for a quick spin and show you what this car can do and our driving impressions. We want to show you the various driving modes which you operate through this toggle, just like the XC60 and other plug-in hybrid Volvos. The drive mode button is right here next to your start button. Of course, the beautiful crystal gear shifter is right here, which is about to change actually in the 2020 version. But anyways, for now, that's what you have. And so here, when you depress this button, which has a roller where you change the different modes, you can see on the main screen, you have constant all-wheel drive, you have the pure, which we're on right now, which is highlighted, you have the hybrid mode, and you have the power. So exactly the same as we explained in our previous video on the XC60. So we just put it in pure mode, and we're going on the highway. We're on QEW in the direction of the Sherwood Gardens in pure electric mode. And again, a reminder for those who have not watched our other plug-in Volvo videos is, in order to stay all electric, it doesn't matter what the speed is, you just have to keep this indicator, power indicator, in the blue field, beyond which it starts the gas engine. So you can see right now I'm almost at the limit of the blue field. As long as you keep it there, which means you have to press the accelerator gently enough not to go beyond that to keep it in full electric. But we're already at highway speed, we're able to get the normal highway speed fairly quickly. So even though 87 horsepower electric motor doesn't sound like much, but because of its torque, it manages to accelerate the 2.3 ton SUV fairly quickly. So you don't necessarily feel the difference in weight. So this truck, which is bigger than our X5, is substantially heavier, but again, with the 400 horsepower, it feels quite lively and accelerates very well. So that's basically, now in order to recharge the battery, what you would do is basically you would go back to hybrid, you would then go back to your menu, and you would press the charge button. So what happens right away, you can see that change, the engine is on, and we're in B mode, which is recommended for faster charging while driving, and the battery will start being charged by the engine. And then whenever you're, so in a moment we'll be going, leaving the highway, going on the side road within the Sherway Gardens. We'll put it back in the electric mode, so you can hear the engine a little bit. But what I have to say about all Volvo products that we have driven recently, this XC90 as well as smaller brother XC60, is that the sound insulation from road, tire, wind noise is excellent. I mean, I have to say it's superior to our Model 3 Tesla and even the Model S. We've been driving for the last few weeks, as you may have heard, a loaner from Tesla service, Model S, and it's better sound insulation than the Model 3, but still you can hear quite a bit. Where our X5 and this XC90 and some of the other plug-in hybrid or pure electric SUVs from the traditional manufacturers, you'll notice that the sound insulation is excellent. So let me just basically switch it back. So first of all, you have to go pure electric, you have to unclick the charge, and then you go through the mode, change to pure, and we're back in pure electric mode. Okay, so we can just press it back. There we go. We're back in pure electric, and because we're in B mode basically means battery mode or braking mode. It strengthens the regeneration by the electric motor. So in normal D, you would be just coasting. In a B mode, the regen is not as strong as Tesla or i3 or any of those, but it's fairly strong. So it allows you for some form of single pedal driving, not quite to the same extent as those other cars mentioned, but it's probably the best mode to be using while driving in electric and in other modes. So that's basically it. You can see everything else is the same as on the XC60, and even very similar dashboard and functions to the S60 we recently drove. We're waiting to test drive the plug-in version of the S60 and the V60, as well as the S90. And of course there's the XC40 plug-in hybrid coming, as well as the pure electric XC40, and also the Volvo related Polestar 2, which will be a pure electric car that will compete with Tesla Model 3, they say. It will be priced around the Tesla Model 3 with a similar range, similar specs, horsepower, battery size, etc. So we're anxiously awaiting arrival of those pure electric products, especially because plug-in hybrid, like you said, a lot of people think that they have no more reason to exist. We believe that for a lot of people, the plug-in hybrids are, for now, the way to go until the infrastructure improves, and it's continuously improving every week. And so we believe that eventually the plug-in hybrids will not be needed. For now, I think it's the still intermediate solution for most people. Once they abandon their gas cars, go plug-in hybrid, and then the next step might be a pure electric car. We wanted to just show you the car fully with a walk around. So this is, as we mentioned, the inscription model. You have a choice with the XC90s of the base, which is the Momentum, which makes it the most affordable at $78,000. Then you have the R Design and the Inscription. The R Design is more sport oriented, where the Inscription is more luxury oriented. So it has the specific rims, specific front bumper trim and rear bumper trim as well. Of course, you can see the charge port, like with all Volvo plug-in Volvos, is here. The difference with the XC60 is that this one actually has a little cap, where our XC60, which we tested a few weeks ago, didn't have one. So that's an extra little feature. The port is backlit. There's a little LED light inside, so when you're trying to plug in at night, it's quite convenient. It's well lit up. Okay, so here is a charge port. Of course, you can only charge it from level 2, and yesterday at level 2 we were able to charge only at 3.3 kilowatt hours. Our X5 will charge up to 6.6 kilowatt hours. So we will investigate for you whether this is actually the max charge rate or whether a higher charge rate can be obtained with the onboard charger on this Volvo. So this car is equipped with 21-inch trims. Because it's an Inscription, it's top of the line. You can see on the outside, so this is a 3-row car, 7-seater. And the nice thing about it is that even with the 3rd row up, which we'll show you in a moment, there's very decent trunk space. We have our camera gear here, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of space here in the trunk for your stuff, even with 7 seats up. There's also a little compartment here under the floor where they store charging cables. So we can't open it now because it's full, but it's right here. The charging cables are there. There's a bit of a storage space there as well. There's another little storage space here and on both sides. The 3rd row is easy to fold and access, so we'll show you in a moment. The car is equipped with the kick function. I don't have the key in my pocket right now, but it works very well. We tested it. You basically will move your foot. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, I don't have the key in my pocket, but anyways, it does work. We tested it. You just swipe your foot under this side of the bumper, and the gate will close. So let's close the trunk and show you the 2nd and 3rd row seats. So of course you have this little sign here that differentiates the Inscription from the R Design. It says twin engine, all-wheel drive, Inscription. Okay, so again, a lot of chrome on this particular version because it's the luxury version of the car. You can see the 2nd row has ample space. It's divided 40-20-40 with a central armrest. Okay, the center is fairly high, so the middle passenger, if you have one, will have to put his feet on either side. The reason for that is the battery is in the center tunnel, and that's why, as opposed to the X5, which keeps the battery in the trunk, which disallows the 3rd row, the XC90 plug-in hybrid, you can still have the 3rd row. Okay, so the access. Those seats, of course, they move. You have a little lever here, and you can move them forward and back. The way you access the 3rd row, there's a handle here, and you just jump in there. So the 3rd row is fairly easy to fold as well. There is a button on the center console where you can fold the headrest to increase visibility. Of course, you have the beautiful large sunroof, which stretches all the way to the back of the 2nd row. And the very large section of it opens. The ventilation, you have your own controls in the 2nd row. There's a digital display here. There's a 12 volt charger, and of course you have your ventilation here in the B pillar as well as the center. So this area is well ventilated, and the same thing for the 3rd row. You have some ventilation separately for the 3rd row as well. When it comes to 3-row plug-in hybrid full-size SUVs, this car has very little, if any, competition right now. Of course, in a few months, with the arrival of the Lincoln Aviator plug-in hybrid, which will be priced $3,000 above this car at 81, where this one starts at 78. With the arrival of Audi Q7 plug-in hybrid, Mercedes GLS 560e plug-in hybrid, as well as BMW X7 plug-in hybrid. Those will be arriving within the next 6 to 10 months. There will be some choices later on to be had. But as it stands right now, the Volvo has the market all to itself. And this is a really nice and practical vehicle. We were able to drive it up to 35 kilometers using our hypermiling exercise up north. And I'm sure that in ideal conditions, because where we did it there were a lot of hills, if you were to do it on a fairly flat area, driving carefully, you could probably stretch it closer to 40 kilometers, which is what we were able to do with the XC60. Of course, this is a much heavier car. So all in all, we highly recommend this to anyone looking for a 7-seater, 3-row plug-in hybrid SUV. The interior quality and finishes are impeccable. The car is very fast with 400 horsepower combined system output between electric and gasoline. The official numbers are around just over 5 seconds. And it is a very comfortable, beautiful designed truck. So we really enjoyed our time. Thank you to Volvo Canada again for allowing us time with this wonderful plug-in hybrid truck, and hope all of you will get to test it one day soon. Thanks for watching.